Hey, this is Scott from Watchuseek, and today I'm going to be looking at the Mido Ocean Star. Now, Mido is a brand that's been around for a long time. It's been around since the early 1900s. It's now part of the Swatch Group. I live in North America, and Mido is not very well known in North America. That's changing. Mido's doing some more high-profile associations with college football. So let's have a look at this guy. This is the Ocean Star. Obviously, it's a dive watch here. So let's get the specs out of the way. This is 42.5 millimeters across. We have a height here of 11.75. Our strap width here, lug to lug in here, is 22. And if we measure across here from our lug to lug, we have 49 millimeters. This is, as you can see right there, this is a titanium case. I am a fan of titanium. Now there's some advantages and disadvantages of titanium versus stainless steel, which is more commonly used. First off, an advantage that I see is the weight. This titanium watch is very light. So when you pick it up and you put it on your wrist, the wearing experience is easy, right? I mean, it's not heavy. It sits nice on the wrist. There's not a lot of weight to get this to go flying around. The color of titanium, it is not as it has more of, like, I'd call, like, you know, like a gunmetal gray type of a color to it. The disadvantage, if you will, of titanium is softer than stainless steel. And you will start to see scratches and that type of stuff on titanium. Not a worry for me, but it's something to take into account. My daily wear is a titanium dive watch, which like I said, it's my daily wear. It builds up a wonderful patina, no worries. The other thing about titanium that's interesting is when you pick up a titanium watch, or let's say a pen or something like that, it feels warmer than, say, a stainless steel. And that has to do with thermal transfer. So this guy does not transfer the heat from my hand to the metal the way stainless steel does. So because of that, when you pick up a titanium watch, it feels warmer. Now, it's the same ambient temperature as a stainless steel watch would be, but it just has this feeling of warmth to it. And I definitely like that. So this Mido is brushed. You can see it's brushed on the sides, brushed on the top of the lugs, and then you have a polished little bevel here on these lugs that widens as it meets the strap area here. So that's kind of cool. On the side, we have the crown here, a signed crown. That is polished. We have some little polished edge there. So what that does is that just picks up the light when it's sitting on your wrist. On the back, I'll open this. We'll talk about the strap a little later. We have a starfish motif. You know, whatever. I'm not going to see the back, but we have 5 screws here that hold the back in place. This case is it's a true diver's watch. It's rated to 200 meters water resistant. The bezel here, titanium as well. It is a 60-click bezel, so it has a nice feel to it. You can probably hear that clicking. Back here, I'll line that up. Whoops, I gotta go around the horn again. Go back and line it up. Now on the bezel, I do wish, this is a little Loom marker here. I wish that the Loom marker was bigger than, you know, maybe, you know, a typical triangle, or make a bigger square or something like that. But, you know, no big deal. So nice case. Let's talk, we'll talk about the dial here. So the dial has a texture to it. It's a medium gray. I wouldn't, maybe a darker gray, but it has, when the light hits it, you can see it's not totally flat. There is a texture to it. And when you're out in sunlight, it's hard to see it under these studio lights here, but when you're in the sunlight, that texture of the dial, it will pick up. You'll see some different colors in there, which is, I really do enjoy that. We've got some text here, so we've got 5 lines, the Mido, the automatic, Ocean Star, caliber 80, titanium. Day date here. I'm gonna move the hand here. Pretty interesting, you can see the hand has an opening here, so even when the hand is over the date window here, you can read the date. I'm just going to move that out of the way so we can see the date here. So we have the day and the date. It is a white background on the day and date wheel. I wish that was reversed. You know I was looking online, they make a dark dial version of this, and the date window has a dark background and then white lettering on that. So we have applied markers here. So for each hour we have an applied marker. And one of the things that I think Mido did a killer job with design is when you have a day date here, this really can, how do you design around that? It's a big opening there. And what they've done at the 12, the 3, the 6, and the 9 is, instead of a rectangle like they have on these hour markers, they have done squares. So they've taken the rectangle, divided it in half, and so you have 2 squares here. So at 6 and 12 you have 2 squares, but then at 9 and 3 you have 1. So I think it's a really simple and elegant way to still get a Loom marker here at 3, even with the date window. So these applied markers here they sit up nice and proud. You can maybe see it there. I'll try and get a shot, a macro shot, so we can see that. They are Loom filled with white Loom, and then it glows a green blue. So very good Loom. I will say that the Loom is nice. The hands, I mentioned earlier, they have an opening here, and then they are Loom filled on the end. So the hands have 3 different, there we go, 3 different facets to it. So they have the flat middle portion, and then it's angled down on each side. And what that does is that really helps catch the light when you're glancing at your watch, and it makes it easier to tell time. I will say the contrast with the hands and the dark dial and the white numerals and then the white on the hands here, very easy at a glance to read the time, very legible. And then we have the second hand, and I love this little detail on the second hand, this orange arrow here, and that is Loom filled. So part of a dive watch, an automatic watch like this, is you need to be able to tell under Loom in dark situations that it is still running. And with the little Loom mark here on the seconds, it is easy to tell if it is running or not. So this is an automatic watch. So this uses the Mido caliber 80. So caliber 80, you say, where did that name come from? Well, it really comes from the fact that this has an 80-hour power reserve. I didn't realize that when I first got the watch, and I was rotating with another watch, and I put it on a couple days later, and I'm like, whoa, it's still the correct time. And then I started researching for this review and went, oh, it's got the caliber 80 in it. So really cool. If you're the kind of person that, maybe switches out watches over the course of a couple days, having an 80-hour power reserve is really nice. You don't have to reset the watch. It just keeps on ticking. It does beat at a little lower hertz. This beats at 3 hertz. So the second hand may not be as smooth as, say, something that's beaten at like 28.8, that type of thing. But no big deal. I'll take that second hand for an 80-hour power reserve. So definitely did enjoy that part of the watch. So let's get this on my wrist and talk about the wearing experience. Okay, so here we go. So This strap, because this is a strap that you need to cut, obviously you can see this is a loaner watch from Mido, so I can't go cutting the strap. So what I did is I changed the strap out. In fact, I wore it on two different kinds of straps. I had it on a leather strap, and I also put it on a rubber dive strap that I have. So I have been wearing it. I will say right off the bat, extremely comfortable. It is, like I mentioned earlier, titanium. It's very lightweight. It's a little over, it's 42 millimeters, so it wears nice on my wrist. The lugs are short, so it doesn't have a long overhang here, so very easy. The other thing too is you can see here, it's just a shade under 12 millimeters tall. So I actually one night wore this to an event, and it went under my shirt cuff no problem. So very easy to wear. And the other thing too is, I mentioned it earlier, is the legibility. The contrast on this watch, it's very legible, very easy to read. So overall, definitely an easy watch to wear on the wrist. So I mentioned in my wearing experience that this is a strap that needs to be cut to custom fit to you. So in all honesty, I can't really comment about wearing it with this strap, but I would like to take just a few minutes to talk about the strap and the really cool deployant buckle. So you can see here the strap, it is a rubber strap. Let's start there. It conforms to the K shape. So this is specific for this watch, the Ocean Star, and you can see how it slopes downward. So if this was cut to your wrist size here, that's really gonna snug on the side of your wrists. So it has some design marks here, and on the inside you can see, and I've talked about rubber straps in the past, I like having a rubber strap that has some texture on the inside. I think that helps with breathability when it's on your wrist. If it's hot, that helps. So it's pliable, has a nice feel, very soft. It's a good quality rubber here. So we can see we have a signed deployant buckle back here, and this is really cool. So you see you've got two switch buttons here, not switches. So I can push on here, open up the clasp, and then this guy, this is my favorite. You push on both of these, and then you have micro adjustments. So let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different positions there. It's about 2.5 millimeters per position. So many bracelets from big high-end watch companies don't have a quick way to make an adjustment to tighten up or to expand. Usually with me, late afternoon, if it's hot out or something like that, sometimes the wristwatch gets tight, you're at the beach, just being able to push this in and move it out just one position would be great. I like the fact that it has double buttons here to get it to move. So you really have to do this. You're not just gonna hit this and then have it open and then have your watch fall off. This is titanium. Let's see, I think it says it right there. There you go. So this mechanism, the deployant, it's super light. It doesn't weigh anything. Positive click there, I'll close that up. So all in all, very nice, nice strap for the Ocean Star. Likes, dislikes, so what would I change on this? And I really had to sit and look at the watch and really think, well, what would I change? I would like a larger marker on the bezel. When I turn this, I want to quickly and easily see that is where I'm moving my bezel to. And I think that marker could be big. Is it hard to read? No, but I just would prefer that to be bigger. And then the Loom mark as well. I'd love to see a bigger Loom mark there. So I would also like, it bugs me if the bezel doesn't go all the way straight up when I'm just wearing it around. So let's get it here. Click, click, click. Okay, so you noticed I had to move my hands around to move the bezel. The bezel is fairly thin here. So I don't think this is a it's not like a purpose-built dive watch. I'd call this more of a daily wear desk diver. And so the bezel, it slopes down and it doesn't have a lot of purchase. So it's hard to turn here. Not that I can't, but it's just easier to go on the side. That's fine. I'm not, like I said, I'm not taking this diving and I'm not gonna be wearing it with gloves, that type of thing. So the other thing that I would change is it would be neat if that date disc had a different color so that it was a gray with a white background, kind of, I'm sorry, a gray date disc with the white lettering on there to match what we have here. I do like the font that they're using. You can see the A, how it's like squat and it's squared off. Nice, it's a little different. It has a unique feel to it. So what would I keep? What do I like about this watch? Well, I love the legibility. I really do like the being able to look at the watch and see the hands. They reflect the light. I have big white loom filled parts on the hand here. Very easy to read. I like the fact that it is not too tall, right? It is a lot of dive watches, because the bezel is large, and to make it easier to move the bezel with gloves on, they sometimes can be really thick. Well, this guy isn't, so I do appreciate that. I love this bracelet, the deployant clasp here with the micro adjustability. I wish I got to wear it, but you know, I can't go cutting into product that's not mine. But I think that's a great idea, and it seems to work really well. I mean, that holds that position nice. The fact that it's 2 buttons to move that means that it's not gonna come loose and fall off your wrist. So I do like that. So what's my takeaway on this Mido Ocean Star? I really truly believe that this could be a perfect daily wear type of a watch. It's rugged. You've got 80-hour power reserve. Say you take it off on the weekend, it's going to be working when you come back on Monday morning. It has the day and the date. That's very useful on a daily basis. And I like the fact that it's waterproof. You don't have to worry about it. It's raining out, whatever. And it's highly legible. It's lightweight. It's not too tall. If you can't tell by now, I like this watch as a daily wear. Or even the other thing I was thinking of is this would be the perfect vacation watch, right? You're going on a cruise. Maybe you don't want to take some of your more expensive watches from your collection. You put this on your wrist, you're good to go for your whole vacation. So speaking of cost, how much is this? This guy retail price is $1,000 US. So you get a titanium case, Swiss made, 80-hour power reserve, day date, 200-meter dive watch for $1,000. I think it's definitely a bargain. And I was on the website, Mido's website, looking at some of their other watches. And as a whole, Mido is part of the Swatch group. The Mido is part of their entry-level brand, or let's say group of brands. So their watches are going to be mainly in this price range. So once again, this is the Mido Ocean Star. Hey, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe and leave comments below. And thanks for watching.